Hey y'all, it's opening day of Kentucky's deer season, and we're gonna hunt the morning just because it's opening day. Everybody told me not to hunt the mornings, and they told me to hunt beans. Forget everything you know and hunt beans. We're hunting the mornings, and we're going to a river bottom.
Situated just in the nick of time. I think we're sitting pretty good.
Saw some deer this evening, but didn't see the right deer.
Welcome to the latest installation of the Pinhoti goat rope.
When it's 97 degrees and you're tent camping, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
Record high temperatures today in Kentucky. I just remembered I forgot to stop and get ice on the way here last night. Dang it. So that means my bologna that's in the cooler is probably no longer good. Dang it.
Time to get started again.
We're up here on this little hardwood bluff. I'm not sure if there's any acorns up here or not.
It's been pretty slow, so what I'm gonna do is use it as a scout day. Another day, another dollar.
I don't know why I hunt deer in September. It's stupid. Ain't seen a dang thing except two guys.
We're fixing to go in for an evening sit in a spot that we found back in August. At the time, it was a very heavily used buck bed.
Figure something out eventually, I guess.
By now, y'all know the story, and I'm pretty sure you're probably tired of hearing about it. So, I'll just let you use your imagination on why we're in the river in a boat, and we're not fishing.
find him, and I will kill him in April.
We're down, but we're not dead, so we're still going.
Oh, here we go again. Guess what? Weatherman was wrong again. Which is just about as surprising as me not seeing any friggin' deer. Good morning. One thing you haven't figured out about myself quite yet is when I'm failing at something, the only way that I get out of failing at something is to try harder, continue to do it more, go to more extremes, doing whatever I'm doing and I'm failing at, doing it even harder than I've done. So one thing's for sure, sometimes it proves successful and sometimes it just means that when I fail, then buddy, I fail good. Because it's 2:45 in the morning. I've got a headlamp that's out of batteries, obviously. And I'm fixing to go try to climb in a tree. I'm gonna try to get situated by 4, which would be 2 hours before it starts to break daylight. He's just not here. Sitting over the top of his bed like this, right out in the middle of these bean fields. I figured if it was gonna happen, it was gonna be one of those right at first light things. I really expected him to come in here before daylight. We're getting everything situated here, getting ready to go in. Man, it sure would be nice for one to show up right up under this tree this evening. That tree over there's loaded with persimmons. I've been looking at it through binoculars. To drop this boat into the water, slip down here. I'm gonna hunt. There's a big cornfield that comes in. It butts up to like a thin patch. It's a pinch point between a river and a big body of water. There's a lag barrier about 10 or 12 feet. Right up to about there. Got a lot of grass and stuff going down either side, so hopefully that'll be the ticket. We gotta get up the tree. Beautiful morning. First time I've had to put my hands in my pockets all season. And the first time I think I've gotten sit up without wringing wet with sweat. So that was pretty flippin' awesome. So I've been at it for a little over a month now. Or it feels, wait, it was 7th? No, right at a month, almost a month. And I ain't got a kill on video yet, nothing. I mean, I've had some opportunities at does and all that kind of stuff, but I've been hunting Kentucky and want to kill a nice buck, or at least a decent buck, and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's getting a little later in the morning, and I was considering getting down soon. Look up, and here comes 3 or 4 or 5 does. So I thought, what a good opportunity to get a kill on video. So everything happens kind of fast because they're going through my perfect little shooting hole here at about 24 yards or so. I reach up, turn the GoPro on, and 3 or 4 of them get through the hole, and I come to full draw on one, make sure they're all in the camera and everything, and center punch her, and she runs off. I think, good, we got a good kill on video. Then I look down and figure out that I didn't punch record. So I guess I'll take y'all on the recovery. I didn't hit record on the freaking camera. Man, I can't tell you how mad that makes me, but what's done is done. No reason to pitch a fit, I don't guess. So we just found the arrow right here, and it's covered. First of those. Hey, pretty girl. Thank you. Well, we found the old girl. She's a giant doe. And she didn't go, but probably, I guess, that may be 60 or 70 yards. I heard her fall down in this bottom. Right there's the river. And the boat can't be much further than right there. So essentially what I'm telling you is everything has worked out perfect, except for me not punching that record on this camera right here when I made the shot. So we're going into a spot that I wanted to go yesterday, but I did not go. This 0.8 miles back in here. Well, today I'm going, and I've got a later start. I gotta get up this tree. That little buck about run over me. Motivation is tanked, and I feel like I'm needing to put my eyes on some stuff. So I'm gonna go back in deep to this piece that I've kind of been hunting the front of. I'm gonna go look around at the back of it and see what it looks like. And good afternoon. You didn't hear from me this morning because I did not hunt this morning. I got up to rain, took advantage of the rain again, and scouted all morning. Covered a lot of ground and didn't find anything but trees that had been climbed, ladder sticks. This spot, the bluff comes up pretty tight, which kind of pinches these deer down a little bit. So that's why we're in this particular location. Keep our fingers crossed that something worth shooting comes dancing out through here before dark.
don't know how much of that I got. But I just put an arrow in a stud 8-pointer at like 5 yards. But with that shot angle, you're not going to get any blood. He crashed trying to go back the way he was toting his front end, but he was coming fast. Turned the camera on, put it on, backed it up. I had to move the shutter speed up because it's gotten a little dark. That joker came directly under me. I actually shot like right between his antlers to get down between his shoulders. I don't see how that didn't get in there to get lungs. Been exactly an hour since I shot the deer. Like literally he was moving that early. 5:20, an hour and a half before sunset. It's been a really long time since I have shot a deer and didn't have a good feeling about the shot. Really long time. That shot angle, he was straight down, like right there. And if I'd have let him keep going, I think he was going to come right to my tree and he would have probably smelt where I got my sticks on the tree or something. And if he hadn't, and he kept going, man, it would have been a bear to get around this thing, to get the camera and me. I'd have to let the bow down. There's no way he wouldn't have seen me and made me. Man, I hate that shot angle. I'm thinking, at freaking 7 yards, that arrow's got to get some crazy penetration, you would think. He just crashes into the freaking bank and even like moan, grunts or something. And he's pushing his front end up that bank. And he was still somewhat pushing his front end when he went out of sight, as far as I could tell. And the toughest part of being a bow hunter is that right there. Like I told my buddy, if it pushed down, got any penetration, like half the arrow or anything like that, then it's in his lungs and he's done. If it didn't get penetration, if it only penetrated a few inches, then you're just looking at a backstrap flesh wound. But a backstrap flesh wound, I don't think would have caused him to push his front end, but that could have been caused by him crashing into that bank. He could have just broke his shoulder or leg crashing into that bank. Shit, I don't know. It's a somber arrival at the boat. Oh man, I've worked so hard for that opportunity, and I hope I didn't just spoil it. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't think that deer was dead. But I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna take the boat back to the truck. I'm gonna try to call these blood trailing guys that my buddy's trying to put me in touch with and get their opinion, put the video up on the big screen. And like I said, I'm not a big proponent of letting deer lay overnight. I do think it'll be cool enough, but my biggest fear is to walk up on a deer with coyotes on it, or the day of eating. I just sat right there with the boat backed up to the water for an hour and a half, thinking. Talked to 2 trackers and they were too far to come. Talked to another guy who was gonna come, but the more we talked, the more I discussed the situation with everybody, they think that wait until the morning's the best idea.
tough to make that decision. Looked back at the footage the best I could. I was zoomed out because everything was happening so fast. Deer was directly under me. The arrow, to me, from what I could tell from the footage, looked like it hit directly in the center, right between the deer's shoulder blades. The amount of penetration to me looked like 8 to 9 inches once I compared what I saw. Of course, that could all be skewed, but to me it looked like 8 or 9 inches of penetration. I think if you get 8 inches of penetration in, that's enough to get into the top of the lungs. Here's my dilemma. If I hit dead center, it would have been the spine and the deer would have broke down up under me. So I was obviously off to one side or the other of the spine. The deer was carrying one of its shoulders or legs. I don't know if that's because it crashed into that ravine so hard, or if perhaps maybe I did cut part of the spine. But either way, I'm off to one side, which means that if we got in there 8 or 9 inches, we probably got in the top of one lung and not the top of 2 lungs. Obviously, at that angle, I don't think you could do both. I know one lung deer can even live for days, but if he was hurting and got around the corner there and bedded down and it's filling up with blood, then I go blow him out of there. My biggest fear then is him getting to the river, because I'm really close to the river. And if he goes off in that river, who knows what would happen. I don't have a clue what would happen. I don't know if deer float, deer sink. I have no idea what would happen. If he's still alive, that's just a disaster I just don't want to deal with. So, I've been rambling for what feels like 30 minutes to tell you that I'm waiting till the morning to go look for the deer. My dad's on his way too. Alright. Good night, guys. I'm gonna go try to get a couple hours.
Well, y'all know the story. Super foggy this morning. The sun should be up soon and it'll burn this fog off, but I'm going in to look. I've looked and thought and prayed and everything in the world about it. I just don't know. Dad showed up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and so he's going to join me on this, what I feel like is just going to be a body search. So fixing to be up here to the scene of the crime. I was right there where that tree makes that little dip in right there. That's where I was at. I shot him in that hole right there. And he spun and went this way. Right there, I think, is where you hit that bank so hard. Well, how hard it is to look into this camera. I can tell you there's a deer I shot I can't find. I'm so disappointed in myself. We just took a straight line the way he went. I mean, of course, there's no blood, nothing to go off of. Just kind of spread out to a body search. We just kind of spread out about 50, 60 yards apart, because you can see fairly well up down the ridge side. Didn't find anything. So we tried not to track it up too bad, because I will call a tracking dog. Just 'cause I want to do everything that I can to make sure I do my part, because I'm a freaking idiot. Oh man, you work so hard. Come up here to an unfamiliar piece of ground, start from scratch, won't take no help from nobody, work your butt off, learn the land, get your opportunity, and
do some kind of shit like that. It's the evening or afternoon now. Going back up this bluff to look again. We looked for about 3.5 hours and combed it pretty good this morning. But we basically just spread out and kind of made a pass because where he ran, and the spot I'm hunting here is very narrow. The guy I talked to last night that was afraid we was going to run him off into the river if he was still alive. Only guy around here apparently that tracks this area. He had a track about 3 hours away this morning and then picked up another track after that 2 hours further. So he's gonna be 5.5 hours away. And I'll be honest, my confidence in tracking a deer that's leaving no blood amongst other deer 24 hours later or more on a shot like that, I just don't have any confidence whatsoever. So I'm gonna go back up here into the shot side and try to do it myself. I showed Dad the shot on the video and he was under the same impression that I believe I got into between the two shoulder blades but didn't get far enough down in there to get into the top of the lungs. And I shot, to be honest, the arrow hit exactly where I was aiming. I wanted to hit, but I don't know. I guess I thought I would get more penetration than that, but I should have known better. I'm not shooting the right setup for that type of shot, so I shouldn't have taken the shot. I know I take this stuff way too serious and I'm way too hard on myself and stuff like this. This is all part of bow hunting. It happens just like this. It's just, part of the game, unfortunately, blah, 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 blah. I know all that. Everybody says you're too hard on yourself, man, just pick your piece up and go on about your business, but there's an animal at the end of this damn arrow that I'm looking to kill, and I take it seriously. I take it very freaking seriously. And it makes me just want to go home. And the roller coaster continues. Just found my arrow. I don't know how we missed that this morning, which we didn't pay attention. And I would say that arrow got at least 10 inches of penetration, 8 to 10 inches of penetration. So essentially I'm tracking ruffled leaves and fresh, what appears to be running buck tracks. And I am 144 yards away from the shot site, and I just found a pin drop of blood. You can't even probably see that. There's a little bitty speck of blood on that leaf along this trail that's cutting the top of these ravines. Trail forked right after that blood. The uphill has this track here on it, which to me looks like a fairly fresh buck track. So at least for a little bit, we're gonna go on the high trail. Still just moving slow. Just taking the trails that it looks like been most beat, and I'm finding these fresh tracks, and we just found more blood, believe it or not. How I'm finding this stuff, I don't know, but two little drops here on these big old maple leaves. ...204 yards from the hit site. Sun's falling on me now. I haven't been able to pick up anything since that last blood. I tracked it about 200. Right after that last blood, the trails took a couple forks and couldn't tell which way he went. There was a lot of deer had been funneled through that little rock, little ravine, and you couldn't make out his tracks. And oh man, I've tried to pick it apart. Now all right, last ditch effort. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and we got the tracker here. He's been busy all day, so it's like 30 hours on this since the shot, but he still claims that the scent conditions are perfect, and he thinks that he can make it happen. So they brought their own boat, so they're throwing it in, and we're gonna run down here and try our best to see if we can't figure something out. But give me a peace of mind, at least. I feel like I've done everything I can. We're bankside, fixing to go up the bluff, or hopefully for the last time. We got superstar Hank here. This is Hank, and he's the man that we're hoping can put an end to this whole thing. So peace of mind for me, at least. And this is Lance with what's your name? What's the name? On Track?
Yes, sir. I'm Lance Brantley with On Track K9 Deer Recovery.
And so he's the man, and you are?
Joellen. I'm just a handler.
She's a handler for Hank. And who's the little man over here?
Coy Conrad.
So we got a crew fixing to go in here and try to retrieve this deer. So anyways, up the bluff we go, and we'll see how it turns out. Well, we're letting Hank do his thing. We'll see how it all shakes out. If he sniffs this one out after 30 hours, I'll kiss him right smack on the mouth. It's, let's see, 2:36, and no luck. Dog got on the trail for a little bit and tracked it to where we believe. Don't have an explanation for why the track just ended, but needless to say, we don't have a dead deer. We are still looking, but I think it's nearing the end of what everybody is prepared to do. I think we've exhausted about every effort that I could possibly exhaust. It's like one letdown after the other. One little glimpse of hope, and then crashing back down. Oh man. He says he just found my deer, and I ain't gonna believe it till I put my hands on it. We have just about called it off. The dog started chewing a stick, and he's like, man, that dog smells something. We got to go back in here again. It's 3:40 in the morning.
I'll be done.
Holy shit.
I'll be done.
One or two things happened. That deer was right where we were at, or when we came out and we crossed the line. That's why he wanted to get
Dang, there you go. Congrats, dude.
Oh. I'm fixing to kiss this beautiful bastard on the mouth. That right there is the baddest thing on 4 legs. I can't believe that. I am freaking dumbfounded.
Dude. I was sitting there talking to myself.
You were done throwing in the towel. Everybody's throwing in the towel, and he started chewing sticks.
I was walking through these woods, and I was sitting there thinking, man, I guess this dog just figured I'll just follow him where he wants to go. That's what I was thinking, and all of a sudden I looked down, I'm like, holy cow.
I cannot believe I am sitting here over this deer right now.
That's pretty cool.
That was awesome.
I guess I can show you all the deer now. I'm still dumbfounded at this whole.
It was like a joke. Like I was sitting there telling myself, this dog just thinks I'll follow him.
So right there where you hit him.
Yeah.
Well, here I am, Lance,
Man, look
laughing
what a
my
hole.
mouth, telling them a story, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Is that him?" And I said, "No, that's the owl." And I said,
There's a big 8-pointer.
"It's a real good owl."
I knew it was just a good solid 8-pointer.
That's a good boy. You done your job, bud.
God almighty knows. I can't believe it.
That's unreal.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
Y'all, this is Hank over here on the right, the good looking one.
Yeah. I had to do that.
That's Hank. And that's his owner there, Lance. And this is
Squat down
This
there
is
with him where
Coy.
you get your picture too.
And he keeps calling you JoJo, but he's Joellen.
Joellen, yep.
And this is the On Track K9
deer recovery team. And let me tell you something. They are fully endorsed by the Pinhoti Project, or recommended by. They are fully recommended by the Pinhoti Project, because they just found this deer that I would have never found in 1.5 million years. He's a dandy 8-pointer. I mean, he's
You want me to hold it?
massive. That's all right. I'll get a pile of pictures tomorrow. But he will be one that I am dang glad to take home from Kentucky.